and welcome to my talk on a 10 KB email client. It's an ambitious proof of concept, which we did in Microsoft. The thought was that email is a necessity and necessity should be accessible. And with this thought, we did this experiment, and this talk is around the story, the journey, the learnings of that experiment. And I hope all of this help you make decisions in future. So strap your seatbelts on and get ready for it. What do we have here? We'll get into speaker intro, quick one, I promise. And then we'll have a backstory, why we got into this. What we got out of this will be covered in Revelation. The solution of our problem and why SvelteMate played a major role in finding that solution. What are the other parts of that solution? How was our experience with Svelte? And we'll be closing with some key takeaways. That's where our story ends. So let's get into my intro. This guy here, his name is Tanay, which is me. So I'm Tanay, and I work at Microsoft. I work on Outlook Web for Mobile, which means that when you go to live.com or outlook.com, on your phone's browser, you see my code. That's amazing. And I primarily work on React.js and TypeScript. When I'm not working, I teach coding online on learncodingfree.org. As the name suggests, it's free for everyone. And I also do a bunch of podcasts because I am a very talkative person. You can find me on Tanay Pratap at Tanay Pratap on all social media channels. I'm dangerously active there. Excuse me. So let's get into the honest backstory. In Microsoft, we have almost every quarter we have a hackathon, okay, wherein you get 1 week to try new things or learn new things or try new ideas or fix problems. When we were looking at a hackathon, an upcoming hackathon, we saw an appeal from our CVP, Gaurav Sareen. And Gaurav had an appeal saying that when he was in India, he was in Hyderabad and Bangalore, he had problem accessing Office. And he said that maybe someone should take this up as a challenge and work on this. We took it up. We thought it's an interesting challenge to solve. And then we started looking and we had a revelation. Let's see what that is. When we looked into the internet landscape, we found out that 52.2% of internet users are on mobile currently. Let me point this out that when Gaurav was trying to access Office, he was in transit and he was accessing it on phone on your 3G and 4G network. We also found out that average time taken by a page to load is 22 seconds. And 57% of users leave the website if it doesn't load in 3 seconds. And this is not my data, this is not Microsoft's data, it's Google's data, which is publicly available, and you can check it online. What does this mean? I think what it means is businesses are losing on a lot of traffic, 50% of traffic at times, because their website, their web page, their blog, or whatever it is slow. Let that sink in for a second. So we looked some more into more studies done around this. Next thing which we found out was even more eye-opening. It was around the processing power disparity. A Nokia 2 phone, which is around $100 or $150, is 10x, let that sink in, is 10x slower than an iPhone XS today. That's how this is a Geekbench marking, and you can see that Nokia 2 is way below iPhone XS. Now you would say, so what? We all have iPhones or whatever OnePlus or whatever flagship phones we devs carry. That's where the empathy is lacking, and that's where maybe data would help us. So we looked some more. And we found out and study from Uber Lite why Uber Lite came into picture. The study said that 40%, not 1, 2 or 3, 40% of rides were booked via Android phones which were dated 2014 or earlier. So a lot of people have phones even today which were manufactured or which were flagship 6 years back. Understand the difference. And not only that, you had 33% rides booked on sub 3G networks. One third, every one ride out of three was booked on sub 3G network, and every one phone out of three would be an old phone. Let that sink in too. This is why I was saying this was a revelation. When we as a team got into this, we had no idea, we had no clue this is this bad. And we'll come up with something more soon. So, what was our solution for all of these problems? This was simple 4-point solution, right? You needed an app which had low bandwidth demands, which had low processing requirements, which should be network resilient because people would get into a tunnel, or the 4G signal will just go away, or the 3G signal would just go away, or 2G signal would just go away. It's trying to stress my point here that network resiliency also matters, and it should have a simplified UI, because when you don't have a bunch of things there, it should be simple enough to just go ahead. And that's when we came up with this 10 KB email client. Nobody else set that criteria for us. As a team, we said, let's take this challenge, and can we do an email client as good as Outlook in just 10 KBs? Let's see. So first thing first, we started looking into what can reduce our footprint. Our app is primarily on React. It has React, it has MobX, it has bunch of things, a lot of things actually. And if we want to go less than 10 KB, we cannot go with React, right? So we thought about what's the alternative. Obviously, Svelte came to our mind. So we looked into Svelte. Svelte helped us achieve this goal because it has no framework footprint at runtime. What this means is it can run very fast even on a $150 Nokia 2 phone. It does not need an iPhone processor to run because all of the JavaScript, all of the compilation takes care of compiling everything to plain JavaScript. So you don't have a framework, you don't have, and when I was explaining this to executives in my company, people don't know a difference between React and Svelte. There, not everybody is on Twitter doing all of this all the time, right? So I had a very good analogy, and I would say that Svelte is like C, and your React is like Python. Because it has an interpreter, it has to be slow. For every action, it has to go and say, hey Python, what to do with this? C knows, C talks to machine directly. So that was what I was telling to people around in Microsoft, because Svelte is quite new to a lot of us. And it takes care of our CPU requirement. It's fast, it has low requirements on CPU, which was our requirement 1. And the second requirement is minimal data transfer. The Python and C, we can use it again, but in this case, what we do is, in case of React, and trust me, I love React with all the love I am saying this. In case of React, we actually ship the interpreter to the user. We don't compile, we don't interpret, we ship it to the user. So every user who is doing a Hello World React, who is reading one email online on the web, is actually downloading a copy of React so that it can read that hello world or read that email. But with Svelte, we are not shipping an interpreter to the browser, to the end user. And that's where the initial buy-in is as low as 0 KB. If you don't want to send something, you don't send anything. You don't have to do a React DOM, a MobX and everything if you want to do it. Or even if you remove MobX, this React DOM itself is quite big. Go to Bundlephobia and check that out. So we checked all of this out and we went with Svelte to get this 10 KB mail client working. But there were other parts as well, because we got the entire mail working, entire mail which is reading, composing, sending, checking all your deleted folders, all of these actions. And not only that, we got the people part, the contact cards working, the calendar working, and all within 10 KB. So we had to make some more decisions there. And other parts were, we made the product lean. We thought, okay, if someone is using a phone, $100 phone, they wouldn't need all the fancy features of Outlook. There are tons of features in Outlook, by the way. So they wouldn't need a lot of it. They would need all these features which I just talked about. Your read email, your CRUD operations on your mail, your CRUD operations on your calendar, and your CRUD operations on your contact list. And we built only that, the 80-20 rule, because your 20% of code is doing the 80% of work. And then to build network resiliency, we started thinking offline first. And this was also new to us because we take network for granted. If a network request fails, we say, hey, this failed, maybe retry, maybe not retry, it's fine, because we don't see network failing often. So we started thinking about building an offline first scenario, wherein once the app comes in, you can do anything you want with that. You can even offline compose things and it will work. So we leverage Service Worker to the fullest. And we also use browser sync. I love this piece of technology wherein you can close your web app and it will still work in background when the network comes up. Definitely need to check out, all of you. A huge shout out to browser sync technology. It makes your web app as near native as possible, I feel. These were the other parts. How was our experience with Svelte? First of all, thank you, Rich. Thank you for making this. This is an amazing thing. And the docs are just awesome. And I'm telling you this because in hackathons, we don't get a lot of time. We have to ideate, create, and present in just 4 days. So our team got started with Svelte on day 1, and by day 2, we were almost experts. We were done with the core part of the email experience. So we were able to build the entire thing in just 2 days, in the first 2 days itself, because the docs are great and it's faster to onboard. When I was talking to my juniors, to the freshers who just came out of college, everybody was echoing the same thing. Tane, this is like HTML, CSS. This is great. This is so easy to understand. And I can understand because we went to the current Outlook experience and we copy pasted bunch of HTML, CSS just to get the styling part right. And it just worked. It was amazing to see that. Then when we went into the state management part, it's all built in. It's so nice. You don't have to write hundreds of lines of code, manage memoization and whatnot. I mean, again, with all due respect and love to React, please, this is amazing DX. And best part is the fourth part, and I'll tell you how. I'll tell you a small story. So if you see the current Outlook experience, we do not have a lot of user delight animation. So the UX and product team, our design team and the product team always says that, hey, why don't we put some animations around when the things move, and it would look good for us. It would create a better user experience. And let's be honest, we all know how hard it is to do animation in React. And in this hackathon, and I'm smiling so bad. So in this hackathon, when we were doing this entire thing, right, we did animations as well. So when we presented it to our product team, our design team, and our leaders, they were like, wow, this has animations too inbuilt. Like, how can you do all of this in 4 days? And I think the biggest credit of this goes to Svelte. So thank you for that, everyone here who is listening. The key takeaways would be network isn't ubiquitous. We think that Wi-Fi and iPhone and all of this is normal. When we are, like, I'm in Bangalore, which is called the Silicon Valley of India, which has almost good 4G, awesome Wi-Fi. We all have flagship phones all the time. But this is not the reality. This is not the reality of the world. Second part is performance planning helps. I remember we had this discussion during hackathon. Hackathon is a good time wherein you have long working hours and you get into good discussions also. So we had this discussion with one of our team members, and he was saying that, hey Tanay, if we just had this 10 kb hard stop in our mind when we were designing anything else, it would have been so easy. Because when we thought about the 10 kb hard stop, we didn't put a lot of icons into the app, because every icon was taking around half a kb, and half a kb 6 icons would be 3 kb. We couldn't afford that, so we used uh, some of the HTML characters, some of the from the character map. We got creative with a lot of things. We got creative with the product, with the design, definitely with the code. So having a performance plan, having a hard stop somewhere in your mind actually helps you to make decision. That was key takeaway from our side on this one. And the third part is more important. The future is mobile, but mobile as in not iPhones, mobile as in not OnePlus, mobile as in not Samsung S10s. These will be cheaper phones, because the next billion users who are going to come online, and they won't have the purchasing power of buying $1,000 phone. We all need to understand this. Through this project, I'm lucky to get into all of this data and understand this problem really well. And the next billion devices would be watches, would be fridges. These devices won't have the processing power of your flagship phone. It does not make sense. So that's why the future is mobile, the future is low processing power. The thing which we have taken for granted, the UI, the UX which we are building for all these flagship phones, that's not gonna work. So maybe start planning now. Yeah, so happy end of story. We presented it, we won the prestigious CVP award for this one. The team was happy, I'm happy, everyone is happy. And at last, I would like to tell you that please stay safe. These are trying times. Everyone in India, around the world, in US, is worried about safety. I would just tell you few things which I am doing right now, is taking care of my health, drinking enough water all the time, and doing meditation at least once a day, even if it's for just 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Because when you're locked in your house for so long, we are here locked for almost a month now, it gets very crazy unless you take some precautions around it. So meditation is helping. I hope it helps you as well. Thank you for being an awesome listener. I hope this entire talk helped. If you are interested, please follow me on Tanay Pratap, at Tanay Pratap, on all social media handle, wherever you are active, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. I'm everywhere. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kevin, for giving me this chance. This was all very late planned. I just jumped into this thing, and I'm happy that I was able to do this talk. Thank you so much. Bye.